Hey everybody, and welcome back to a new episode. So, if you couldn't tell, today's episode is going to be about detailing. Um, so detailing it's a very important part of making your builds look really well. So, I actually tried to record a clip before this, and I didn't really like how it was turning out. I was getting a little off track, rambling. So, I've already kind of done some detailing here. So, I will walk you through what we have. So here we have a bunch of blocks that they go nice together, right? They fit really well, really nicely together. And so hopefully, because they do look nice together, they'll be good for texturing the wall. So when it comes to texturing a wall in Minecraft, and I am no professional at this, I'm still learning, but I feel like I got a decent handle on it. So I promise to kind of include y'all in the building process a bit more. So this is me doing that. But when it comes to texturing, you have a couple different choices. So you can do something like, you have like one set of blocks, and say you're doing something like this, and then you're gonna build it up to the next point. Let's get a little scaffolding here. And then you build it up to this, right? And then, ta-da, you have kind of like a gradient. It goes from one up to the next, up to the next. That's a really rough way to do it, but yeah. So you have like that kind of gradient, and that's kind of something you kind of plan before the build, like before building the walls, right? If that's something I wanted to do, I would already have, the bottom part of the wall bricks, and then granite, and then mud at the top. But obviously that wasn't the goal for this one. Another kind of trick is kind of doing what I did on these walls over here, and I just kind of put blocks that went together well and just randomly put them through. Of course, cobblestone was the main block, and then I included like stone bricks, cracked stone bricks, and andesite. I think the green one's andesite. And then there's this, which what I'm trying to go for here is I'm trying to make the kind of build look a bit worn down, but not completely worn down, right? So imagine this is kind of like a crack in the bricks, and maybe these ones, the bricks have fallen off, and so it's just revealing the mortar, right? And so what's important with this is not to go too overboard on the texturing, at least in my opinion, because a little bit can go a long way. So what I mean by that is the main kind of block for the build here is our brick, right? And so we want the majority of the build to still be brick, but we want to sprinkle some granite in there every so often to kind of break up the texture of the brick, because it is kind of busy, right? There's a lot of stuff going on in the texture of the block. So when we break it up like that, it kind of gives our eyes a little bit of rest, a little bit of it's a little easier, It's like the difference between shining like a bright light in your face and, having it over your head, not directly in your eyes, But I really don't like just having two, right? It's always nice to add just kind of a third one, just to kind of put really sporadically, every so often, here and there. And so this is kind of an example, this section of the wall. So we have majority brick, right? It ends off, just imagine this little part of the wall. So we have majority brick. And then we have a little bit of granite, right? Just kind of almost looking like cracks and whatnot. And then every here and there, we have mud. Maybe, I would take the mud from here and put it somewhere up here. But yeah, so you can see we have a lot of bricks, and then less granite, and then even less mud. And if we do that all the way across the build, it will hopefully just kind of give it a little extra pop, but also look a lot nicer. Another thing, though, that's kind of important, it's nice to have these kind of textures and colors that are very similar, but something you always kind of need is a little splash of color. And so what I'm planning on doing is, with this awning here, it's going to come out, and then I'm trying to make like a custom like leaf or vine kind of thing that kind of spreads across underneath the sign and over here. And of course, that's going to be green, which I believe contrasts red. I'm not an expert in color theory, but it's a contrast, right? So it stands out. It takes kind of away from that red But if we just do it in the perfect kind of amounts, it'll look nice. And again, it helps take the eye away from that busy brick look in the background. So I guess that's my kind of rant on texturing, and that's something I'm going to go through the whole, like all the walls and texture them. I have built things before where I texture as I go, but I feel like building the main block structure, so like brick, and then texturing afterward just makes it a lot easier for me personally. But again, you can do it as you want. But as well as that, for detailing, you kind of want to have... You can't just rely on the blocks and the walls, right? You need all of these little things kind of around to bring the build together. So on a factory like this, I'm going to want to have a chimney, and I'm going to put the chimney here at the lowest point in the roof. And actually, it's going to become the highest point of the build, and it just kind of gives it that extra little bit, as well as I said that awning. I'll probably make like a little gravel parking lot kind of thing with some like fences for like you to put your horse on and stuff like that. And then this side, I might have like a little like extra storage thing, just have some like kind of blocks piled up. I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, so that's kind of what I have to say about detailing. Again, I'm not like an expert at it or anything. But those are the kind of tricks that I've learned from, one, just building, two, from just watching people build or looking at other builds, and looking at inspiration, and honestly just kind of real life too, right? Because you're going to see on a building like this, you're going to see cracks in the bricks. You're going to see maybe spots that aren't, perfect, right? It wasn't just placed there, unless it was just built, and even if it was just built, it might have already started deteriorating a little bit, right? So you just it kind of makes it just a little, the extra little bit of realism, which really does help go a long way. So yeah, I'm going to try to do that and kind of maybe build some of those extra things. But I think that I'm saying still. I don't know. I don't know how much I'm doing it. But I'm still saying But that isn't everything that I have been doing. I kind of, I find it's important when building. You want to take breaks, right? You don't want to burn yourself out. You don't want to do something so much to the point where you hate it. I don't want to get halfway done that and be like, I hate this build, because it's all I've been doing for the past like 4 or 5 days, right? So something I kind of want to work on next is all right. Sorry about that. I accidentally hit the hotkey to stop my recording. But yes, so kind of something I've just been messing around with here, some horses, because I've been building these cool little paths, and just kind of would be nice to have some super good horses. And I thought, shops are always fun to do on SMPs. It just kind of gives you a reason to build something, right? So I thought, with the factory, Dostaco, I'll open a stable. Dostaco stable, so horses, donkeys, mules, kind of anything you need, right? So yeah, that's just something I've been working on. I'm actually going to move this whole setup to down behind my factory, just so it's a bit easier to get to, like a bit easier to access. But so far I haven't really got any good horses other than this guy over here. I think this guy's pretty fast. I don't really know a good way of testing horses, but this guy seems decently fast. So that's pretty cool. See if we can breed him up with the other stock that we have. See if we get a super horse. But yeah, that's something I've just kind of been doing on the side. But yeah, I'm going to work at detailing the base, kind of building some other stuff, and I'll get back to you when I get back to you. Alright, everybody. So we're back here, and I've been kind of busy doing some detail work and stuff. As you can see, the walls are done being detailed, at least the front walls. I haven't really worked on like the side or back walls. It's, I feel like it's a really common thing in Minecraft to do the front first, do the face of the build, and then you just kind of neglect the front and the back of it. But, I think it's coming along pretty nice. I'm thinking it's starting to look cool. And you can see like I added this little awning here. I gotta finish the gravel and stuff. But yeah, and I started this parking lot, and then I did these like little, I don't really know what they're called, because I tried looking up what they're called, and the best thing I could find was like an entrance pillar. Um, but like normally like if there's like a long driveway to like a house, they'll have these like little like things right at the start. I just thought it just kind of accentuates it a bit, so I went with it. But I kind of want to talk about detailing still, and some things that I was just kind of thinking while building it. I feel like in Minecraft and kind of anything you kind of do creatively, like where you express yourself creatively, everybody is always like super hypercritical of their work and what they do. And I'm not an exception. I kind of hated the detailing for a little bit. Like I hated the way it looked. I thought it was a little too much. But I find it's important to kind of, when you build something and you're unsure if you like it or not, you got to sit with it, right? Sit with it unless you're super sure you don't like it. Sit with it. Let it, do its thing. Let it just kind of fade into the background a little bit. Because like with stuff like this really is the background. This isn't the main point of the build, right? When you look at this, everyone's going to be looking at this sign, right? That's what draws a lot of attention. The detailing is just in the background. Same with this parking lot, and I'm actually still unsure if I went a little too much on the grass. Maybe I might kind of calm down on it. I'm not sure. But I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to, after a day or two, see if I like it or not. And the beauty of this game is if I don't like it, I can get rid of it, right? I can take it down. I can start again. But regardless if I do take it down or not, I learned something in the process, right? And that's what it's kind of all about, is you always learn something. Every time you do something new, you're learning something new, right? And that's super important, and that's how you get better. This is actually a conversation that I've had a lot with my friends. And I like to kind of use the kind of idea of a potter. Not Harry Potter, but somebody who makes pottery. And when they're making pottery, they have this little wheel. It's called a potter's wheel, and the ball of clay, right? They put the clay in the wheel, and then they spin the wheel, and they shape the pot or whatever they're making. And if you've just begun doing that, you can't expect to make a perfect pot first try. Right? That is an insane expectation. It's going to take you a ton of tries to learn. And you're going to fail a ton of times. But that's okay, because when you fail at doing something, you're learning. You're learning for next time. Maybe that's not what I want to do. Or maybe it's something cool, but it's not quite what you were going for. But you learned a new technique along the way. And just like in Minecraft and a lot of other things in real life, with pottery and the ball of clay, if you don't like it, you can just smush it down and start again. But, the most important thing is that you put the clay down, right? You put the clay on the wheel. Because if you don't put the clay on the wheel, then you're not going to make anything at all. And so I say to my friends, sorry. But my process is getting the clay down. That's the most important part of the process. Because if you don't get the clay down, then nothing is going to be made at all. If you don't get a rough build down, you're not going to get anything down at all. You have to really let go of that idea of perfection. And that is something I still struggle with. I don't want to build something if I don't have it perfectly planned out in my head and it's not perfect, But sometimes it's the imperfections that kind of give a build, or something, its personality, its uniqueness. It's those things that aren't perfect that really sometimes can give something that X factor. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to not like the end product of your build, because I've been there. I've seen my friends be there saying, I don't like this build, and they just, they give up, they get discouraged. But that's part of the process. A lot of people don't realize is that is part of the process, is not liking something, is building something and not liking it. And you got to kind of figure out, well, why don't I like it? And you got to learn why you don't like it, and you learn to avoid those things, and you learn why you do like it, and you learn to continue doing those things. And that's kind of the way it goes. I didn't mean to turn this episode into like a huge philosophical thing, but I think it's just important because these are things I struggle with too, and I'm sure your favorite builders that you watch also struggle with it. But it's not a matter of you struggling with it, so you can't get over it. It's a matter of learning to overcome that struggle. And if you just go for it, sometimes you can surprise yourself. And again, that's something I'm still learning. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But it's just, don't be afraid to build stuff. Don't be afraid to build stuff. Because you never know what might come out of it, right? You never know. But I think that's probably going to be the end of this episode. It was a lot of yapping. And honestly, I didn't have a lot of time this week to do like a whole lot. And I've kind of said that I don't really want to, be like, okay, guys, today I'm building a factory, and then I'll see you when it's done, and then finishing the whole factory, details and everything, literally everything about the factory is done. Me moving into the factory, all of the details, completely done. Like 100 hours worth of work in a 2-minute clip. Like, that's not something I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take it chill. I have other stuff going on in life as well, other than Minecraft. I wish I could play Minecraft all day. That'd be cool. But I can't, right? So it's just going to be these, sometimes the episodes are going to be these small little, just finishing these small little things, these small little tasks that really tie the world together and the builds together and stuff. But anyways, done with the yapping session. I hope you were able to take something from that. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. In the next episode, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I think I might take a little bit of a break from this and just kind of work on like a smaller little project. Just for fun, because it's important to take breaks from these kind of projects so you don't burn out. But anyways, I will see you then. Thanks for watching. Peace.